Hi, I'm Laura Slater. I'm one of the directors at Bubblegum Direct, and welcome to Bubblegum Direct's training video as part of the NABAS online convention, which we're super excited to be a part of. So the brief for today was to train you guys in something that's on trend, and we couldn't think of anything more on trend than number stacks at the moment for us. So we're training you how to make 3 of our top selling number stacks today. So you can see the neon one behind me. And the reason we think these are so popular at the moment is for a number of reasons. Obviously, a lot of us have been moving away from helium because of the price of helium recently, and these are air-filled, and they just make a fantastic display with a very small amount of balloons. We know that you can obviously make them supersized and luxury, but these are an affordable, replicable version of a number stack. We actually make our number stacks in separate numbers, and the reason for that is because we deliver them already inflated, as you guys probably know. So these will be a deliverable item, and they're just nice and easy to fit in the back of somebody's van, in the back of somebody's car, if they're coming to collect them. So it makes them more maneuverable, basically, but they still make a fantastic display when they're stood together. So, without further ado, we'll start training you on how to make our most popular number stacks today. Okay, so we're going to start looking at what we actually need to make the neon balloon number stack. So the first thing that we need, because the number stack is made on a sized base, you need either a timed blower, which we are using today. So we've got a timed blower which is from Premium 𝐁𝐿𝐿, and we'll make sure that the link is here for you guys to look into if you're interested. They are an investment, we understand that definitely, but for the amount that we're making in terms of number stacks, we felt that the investment was justified just to save time. If that investment isn't something that you're looking to do now, then there are sizers, which we love the box sizer, and there's another one which kind of slides across, which we're going to be getting in soon to Bubblegum Direct, so keep an eye out for that coming, and we'll let you know on Instagram when it arrives. But it just literally enables you to blow the balloons to the right size and double check them in the sizer. So that you know, the neon stack base is going to be built with the larger balloons being 8.5 inches and the smaller balloons being 4 inches. So we're going to do that on the timed blower. We know that that's X amount of seconds, but for using the sizer, it's 8.5 and 4 inches. We'll repeat that on each of the bases because it's the same on each of the bases that we're going to be making today. And if you ever want to ask any questions, you know where we are, so just drop us a message at any point. So moving on to the rest of the items that we need to actually make the number stack for the neons. We've got 2 60 modelling balloons. They're Sempertex, and they are a mixed bag of neon, which we just think is fantastic. You don't have to buy a whole bag of green, a whole bag of yellow, a whole bag of blue. You're going to literally be able to buy a mixed bag. So for when you're making these number stacks in a smaller quantity, it's just fantastic because you've got every colour that you need in there. Then we've got a starburst, which is a Party Deco 70 centimetre, 27.5 inch starburst. We're only going to use a couple of prongs from that, so that will last you for a number of number stacks. You don't have to worry about buying one each time because they can be quite pricey, but when you're only using a couple of them, they're a big statement and it's quite cost effective to put into the number stacks we've found. Now we make our own weights for these number stacks. We use 16-inch balloons and then we add sand to them. So we've got like a pincer thing that holds them open and we slide the sand in. Again, we can give you the link for the pincer thing so that you can find out what we're using there, and we can demonstrate how we're making those sand weights for you, but it's nice and easy. We've just got a scoop, literally scooping it into the 16-inch balloon whilst it's pincered open and then tying a knot in it. We just think it's easy to tie that neck to neck with the base of the number stack and for it to kind of hold it steady but not too steady. It's like you don't want it to be too weighted. It's still got to be manoeuvrable but feel good. Then we've got the neon latex. So we've got Sempertex again, brand, for their 12-inch. I think they're actually 12-inch latex. We call them 11-inch because we kind of started with 11-inch as our standard smaller balloon, but I know the sizes vary by brand. So we've got the 12-inch from Sempertex neon coloured balloons, and then we've got the 5-inch Sempertex neon coloured balloons. Now all these neons, just for you to know, do actually glow in the dark. So if you've got a one of those UV lights, they actually glow at night time in the dark, which is so cool if you're having like a disco party. Now the tape that we use, we would absolutely swear by this tape. So this is the Oasis Floral Products High Bond Adhesive Roll. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But we sell that on Bubblegum Direct, and it is fantastic. Like literally, it just sticks to anything and everything. Annoying when it sticks to your scissors, so keep your scissors clean. But what we found is if we put some backing on it, it's then easy to cut through. Without putting a backing on it first, it's a bit trickier. So that's a top tip there. And then we've got the number balloons. So the number balloons that we use are Grabo number balloons, and they're 26-inch. So we are big believers in the 26-inch number balloons. They are a big number balloon, but not so big that they're using loads of helium when you're helium filling them, and also not so big that they're making the base of the number stacks that we're using too small compared to their size. So 26-inch is our preferred number balloon. We stock all of the colours in the 26-inch at Bubblegum Direct, so if you ever want any, you know where to find them. We are big fans, and the Grabo ones in terms of quality are just fantastic. So that's another top tip there. Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered everything that we need, so we can actually start doing some blowing of balloons now. Okay, so we're just blowing up the base of the balloons. We need to do 2 duos that we're then going to twist together into a quad. So remember, they're sized at 8.5 inches, and we're just literally making a straightforward quad of balloons. And then we're going to make a second quad. And that literally is what the base is formed up of. 2 quads of 12-inch Sempertex neon balloons blown up to 8.5 inches. Using the timed blower. So we're just twisting those together a couple of times so they're nice and tight, tying the necks quite tightly together so it's not too loose. It's not like making an organic garland. And then we're going to do a quad of 5-inch balloons, and we're blowing them up to 4 inches. Twisting those together. What we're doing here is just literally tying neck to neck. So I want to tie the neck of the 5-inch quads to the neck of the 12-inch quads so it's nice and tight together. That's how we've found it best to do. So just tying that into a double knot so it's not going anywhere. See how snug that is in there? That's perfect. We'll look at the concentration on that face. So we're adding the next quad on top, and that is the base for the first number stack. So I'm going to blow up the number balloon now. Obviously you can use your hand pump, you can use a blower, whatever you do normally. We're going to add in the sand weight first. So we're just literally tying that neck to neck at the bottom there so that it's nice and tight, it sits inside. Just holds it down perfectly. And then we've got 260Q, which I'm taking the air out of and just tying in a knot because they're stronger when you take the air out of them. That's why we do that. So then I'm rolling up the neck of the number balloon on that and just tying that into a double knot. See how strong that 260Q is? It's just fantastic. And then we're going to add that to the number stack, pull it round and tie it in the middle there. So it's all hidden inside. Again, double knot obviously. Now we're going to make the pearls to go around the number. So I literally did 4 pumps there with a green pump, and then I'm twisting 5 times, holding the first pearl nicely in between 2 of your fingers, and then keep on going. 5 turns each time, trying to get them reasonably the same size, although I find they're pretty forgiving if they're not quite the same size. So don't beat yourself up too much on that. Then it's just a case of keeping on twisting. Very therapeutic, this part of it. Five each time, just to be sure that it's going to stay secure. There's nothing worse than getting to the end and it all coming undone. We've all been there. Okay, now we're going to twist that onto the back, and now what I'm doing there is just twisting it around each other and then pushing one of them over. Essentially, I'm knotting it before we've even knotted it, just to make sure that it's nice and safe. Then take the air out of that last one. And then cut the air out of the other one and basically tie it in a proper knot. So you've twisted it first, so it's already fairly tight on itself, and then cut the air out of the two balls that you don't want anymore, and then you just literally tie it together in a double knot. I'm going to do it a bit faster this time. But it's exactly the same process, 5 spins each time, holding it safely in between 2 fingers at the end. If only you could really do it this fast, hey? And same thing again. So wrap it round the number, twist it, so it's nice and secure before you even start taking the air out. It already feels like it's quite tight on each other. And then just snip the end of it. That's it. Snip the other end, just by the knot. Keep hold of those two, and then you tie those two together in a double knot. And it's like the perfect neat finish. Now we're just literally making some of the spirals here. So we rolled the 260Q around the hand pump, and we're blowing it up on the sizer, so it kind of curls as it's blowing, because we're basically making a couple of loops. I mean, there really isn't any exact science to this. If you didn't want to make it a loop and you just wanted to make it a spinny curly thing, you can totally do that. You don't have to do it on the hand pump, you can do it on your finger, you can do it on anything really. We just kind of found a way that works for us for this design, and we're going with it. So 2 of those loops, and I'm just going to tie them together basically, so that they're joined. And then tie the green and the orange together. Just looks fun, a bit neon crazy. And then you've got a tying point there with the 2 ends that were left to tie into the display. We'll show you that in a minute. So we've got the starburst we're opening up here, just literally going to hand pump it a couple of pumps. And then we're going to tie those 2 together. Again, taking the air out of the 260Q. Tie the 2 starbursts together. And taking the air out of the 260Q just makes it nice and strong, because we're going to be using that 260Q to tie these starbursts into the display. So we tie those together and then tie that around. Now we're just making some mini clusters to add on to finish the display. So the kind of final piece for us is always mini balloons. Just hides any gaps and makes it all perfect, like the icing when you sprinkle it on a cake. So I'm going to just twist the minis into the 2 starburst points there. We're going to add all that to the display. So we're just going to use the ends from the 260Qs that are looped together to tie themselves in. Double knot in the middle of the display so you can't see it. Trim away any ends, keep it nice and neat. And then we're looping in there over the mini balloons, the 2 star points and the minis. Oh, I'm tying it, sorry, not looping it. And now we do exactly the same thing again for the next number. So we're making the base, 2 quads, which are 8.5 inches, twisted together, nice and tight. And then a quad of 5 inches, which is blown to 4 inches. and tie those neck to neck. So we've got the neck of the balloon underneath, pulling it up, tying it around those 5 inches. So they're nice and snug together. That's what you're trying to achieve there. The tighter the base is, the more secure the whole structure is. That's what it's all about. Takes a minute to find the right place to pull it in. And then neck to neck, tying the weight in at the bottom. So we've just got the neck of one of the balloons in the quad and tying that weight into it there. Fiddly. There we go. One perfect secure base. So we're doing another 26-inch number here, taking the air out of the 260Q, rolling it round the neck and tying that nice and tight in a double knot. I love these holographic numbers, they're so fun. That's got one tying point in the middle, which we're going to tie around into the structure. It's exactly the same. So we've got the 2 starburst points, minis, cowling the 260Qs on the hand pump, just tying those together into a loop. See, I haven't tied the pink and the yellow one together this time, but just no reason, just because slightly different. You don't need to do it the same way each time. And the pink one's got a sort of double loop going on, which is quite funky. There really isn't an exact science, it's just whatever looks cool. I'm going to twist those in together and it looks fun. Now just some mini clusters for the icing on the cake at the end, cover any gaps and holes. With the mini clusters, we're actually using a 260Q to pull them in so that we're not twisting them to the other balloons and pulling the structure out of shape. So we just tie the 260Q into a loop so you can loop it around one of the balloons in the display. So first of all, we're going to tie in the 260s that are twirled and twizzled together using the 2 ends that we've got. See, I've tied those in and we're just looping that on now. That's fun, nice and easy. And then that's also tied in a loop to loop it on. So you can either tie it in or loop it over one of the balloons, whatever works for you at that moment. Add the minis in. And then we're going to do the pearls around the number. So the pump again, it's either 3.5 or 4, depending on how big you need, how long you need the pearls to be. Now I've found with the 26-inch grabo numbers that actually 3.5 is kind of perfect. Make sure that it doesn't go too tight when you want to snip the air out at the end. And we always use those green pumps. They're quite hard to get hold of at the moment, so we are looking into alternatives. Again, we'll keep you updated on Bubblegum Direct Instagram. If you don't follow us, drop us a follow. So that's going round the number 2. Just twisting that. So we're going to twist that a few times and then loop it over a few times. Now that is the key to making the perfect pearls, in my opinion. So that's already feeling knotted, and then you've got the space now to just trim out the excess air and tie the two ends together. Doing it super fast with the pink one. Tying that into a knot at the back, and then you can just trim away the excess and leave it nice and neat. Perfect. It's just adding in the last of the minis, and there you go. 2 super funky number balloon stacks, ready to send out to a customer. It's a number 12 or a 21, whichever one you fancy today. They just look so fun and they're so simple. So we hope you enjoy making them. We would love to see your end results, so please tag us if you make one or drop us a DM and send pictures to us. We would love to see what you end up creating using some of the techniques from today. Thanks ever so much for listening. I hope you stick around for the other two. Thanks, bye.